Next question is for both of you. During Tuesday night's debate, President Trump shocked many people by not clearly disavowing himself with white supremacist groups. He has since done so. But the president previously shocked Virginians with comments about what happened in Charlottesville. So we start with you, Dr. Gade. Do you believe there were good people on both sides of the riots in Charlottesville? 60 seconds.
Leaders have a responsibility to speak clearly. So allow me to speak clearly. I disavow racism. I disavow white supremacists. And if you're out there, if you happen to be a white supremacist and you're watching this right now, I don't want your vote, I don't want your money, and shame on you for your attitudes and your disrespect. Now, the president badly fumbled that question last week on Tuesday. He badly fumbled it. There's no way around that. And he badly fumbled it in the Charlottesville case as well. And what I would have said in the Charlottesville case is exactly what I just said. I disavow racism, I disavow white supremacy, and it has no place in our society. Now, what is very interesting to me is that when we have a chance to speak publicly about this, we must speak clearly. And in this case, I have chosen to do that. I'm absolutely going to tell you the truth about where I stand on this issue.
Dr. Gade, thank you. Senator Warner, 60 seconds, same question.
President Trump was wrong when he said there were good people on both sides in Charlottesville. And Heather Heyer died because of white supremacist violent actions. President Trump was wrong this past Tuesday night when he refused in front of not only America, but the whole world to call out white supremacists and militia groups. I hope and would ask my distinguished opponent, Mr. Gade, to acknowledge that Mr. Trump was wrong in calling out for that inappropriate comment.
Dr. Gade, would you like to respond? 30 seconds.
Well, I literally just said that, Senator. But as governor in 2002, when you were in charge of who you appoint to the bench in Virginia, you appointed a known segregationist named Cavados to the 13th district. And here's the thing about that. He said that black people are parasites, and he said they would suck billions of dollars out of our economy, and yet you appointed him anyway. So don't preach to me about what I need to say. You need to talk about your own actions, and I'll happily yield back the rest of my time for Senator Warner.
30 seconds, Senator Warner.
I'm proud of our administration's record. We were the most diverse administration at that point in Virginia history. I'm proud of the fact that the namesake of this hall, Doug Wilder, has endorsed my campaign. Matter of fact, I was campaign manager for his campaign. Proud of the fact that one of the first bills I signed as governor was to make sure that we put racial profiling training with our state troopers. Proud of the fact that we made record investments in minority businesses. We didn't make as far as I'd like to see. We moved from very bad to bad. We made enormous progress.
Respectfully, Senator, would you like to respond directly to his claims?
The judge in question was part of an arrangement where there were a series of judges put forward by the Republicans and judges put forward by the Democrats. And part of the judges that were put forward in that package was Richard Taylor, who went on to serve with great distinction. And the fact is, that was only done in conjunction with that then Republican-controlled legislature.
Going along with a deal is hardly
15
an act
seconds.
of political courage. Hardly a profiling courage, Senator.
Again,
15
we've
seconds.
said very clearly, I think Donald Trump was wrong without him disavowing white supremacists and militia groups. I wish you would just say, Donald Trump was wrong.
Donald Trump was wrong, Senator.
Thank
you
you,
fumbled
both
the ball
gentlemen.
badly, and I disavowed those groups. And yet you're still sticking with your record of having appointed a racist judge, and you won't back off on it because
Thank you, both
think
gentlemen.
it was part
We're going to
of your
move on with
political
our
responsibility.
conversation. Regina?